All right, so hey everybody, since we're going to make it a little bit of a feature, this is Ryan Morgan of 16 Bricks and El Camino, where we're here now. After hours, going to answer 15 questions. So
15 questions of
yes,
unanswered after hours news.
yes, and this you will be graded. All
I will
right,
fail.
here we go. First one. What was your first job?
My father owned a sheet metal machinery repair company. And he would travel around and work on metalworking machinery. And my first job was working for him. You know what I mean? And then he got me a job. Hey, we're trying to do an interview over here.
Plus, your camera's broken now.
He got me a job doing, working at a place called Delta Transformer, winding transformers for spot welders. Do you know what either of
I'm
those
shaking
are?
my head like I know
Right,
exactly
right.
what it is, but no.
Yeah, it's a transformer is like if you take a hose and you just have water coming out of it and you put your thumb over it and then it starts to shoot.
Mhm.
That is what a transformer does with electricity. That can be critiqued in a lot of different ways. It's just a sum up.
I believe you.
Yeah. But winding those. And so what would happen is you had a machine that you had to press with your foot and kind of get it to move, and it would make these wraps, and you had to hold copper insulation, copper insulation, copper insulation. And with gloves, and if it would catch you, you'd lose a digit.
Well, you have all yours right now, so I guess you were pretty good at it.
Yeah, no, I just didn't do the big work because I was young, you know?
You were 12.
For sure. I was way too young to be doing something like that. Way too young. There's pictures of me, you know, when I used to go to work with him, I would, I could sweat pipe, you know, and solder and sweat pipe at 8, 9 years old. I could weld better than most men, 11, 12.
Damn.
That's what my dad did, man. And he was my hero. Like I wanted to do what he did, you know, and that was my whole world.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe. More to come.
Yeah, we'll hit that at during the actual show. All right, if you weren't would you call yourself a baker? You do a lot of things.
I'm a baker.
Okay.
I'm a baker.
Well, if you weren't a baker, what would you be doing?
I have a natural ability to fix things. I just heard how I grew up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot of mechanical things that I can't just naturally fix. I worked on metalworking equipment. I worked for Johnson & Johnson. I worked on clinical chemistry analyzers was my last job before bakery.
When you were corporate at that point?
I worked for Johnson & Johnson, the man, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
I wore a button-up suit, you know, shirt, not a suit. I wore a button-up shirt, tie sometimes, nice shoes, and
Is that why you got out of it?
No, but it wasn't the work, and it wasn't the people, and it wasn't the compliance. It was that my boss was a few years younger than me, and his boss was a few years younger than me. You know what I mean? Like I was going to be a field engineer for Johnson & Johnson till the day I died. Which, to be real honest with you, at that time, you know, I was knocking on 6 figures. After bonus, I was making over $100,000. 4 weeks vacation. I mean, life was not terrible.
Yeah, that's something to sneeze
Yeah,
at.
no. And I was the tattooed guy that worked on nurses' equipment, and I was single. Life wasn't really bad for me, you know.
But you wouldn't go back to it. You'd do more.
I don't know that I could go back to anything other than bread bakery.
Yeah.
I don't think that I can imagine in my life ever not making bread. I dream about building motorcycles and, top fuel drag cars or something that I'd really, really love to get involved in. Um, gas and oil combustion, but man, I can't imagine not being at that table with that mixer making bread. It answers every question in my mind usually, kind of centers me, who I am and what I am.
I read a magazine back when I was like 14, 15, and it was this guy went to Paris just to learn how to bake bread, and he moved there and learned I guess met someone at a place and just started baking and did that for years and years, and just for the experience and for the love of bread, like the Zen, like you said. And
yeah.
So and I thought maybe I could do that too, but I couldn't.
Either you love it or you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eating it's way funner than making it,
I think your hands would get so sore just watching how it's done.
If you put your hand on a table, just flat, and then you bring up, you keep you keep your fingertips on the table and your palm in like whatever this is called, the butt of your hand, and you just bring your knuckles up. Now take your pinky and point it to the sky. Perfect. That's bread hand.
Oh yeah?
So if you can do that,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I guess
You hear me yelling at people all day long, pinky up, come on, come on. Get your thumb out of there. What are you doing?
Yeah, I can't wait to do that. How I drink my tea.
Yeah, it's but it'll start to grind you. And then, when you're standing over a table, my big old water head gets heavy, my traps get sore,
That body by bread.
Get body by bread and water,
All right, here's one. What did you eat today? You said you don't eat anything all day. Earlier.
No, this morning I've been going through a bit of a battle here in my days. In the last 3.5 years, I've been in a pretty rugged fist fight with the private equity group and the Klosterman group, and I'm finally past all that stuff. And
you could say it.
And so I decided I was going to have a garden. And so I have a garden, and it's like a pizza garden is what I call it, is what my buddy Robbie calls it. Because I'm growing a little marijuana, a little basil, some tomatoes, some peppers. So this morning I had some tomatoes and peppers for my garden, and some old strip steak. I just chopped it up with some eggs and made a burrito.
That sounds good.
And some asparagus. Yeah, it was super tasty. I've eaten that every day for like a week.
You can grow steak out in the garden?
I can. It's very interesting. No,
Well, everything you said before the steak, I was like, okay, yeah, I could have that.
Yeah.
But then the steak.
Are you not a steak eater?
No, I am.
Okay.
I needed that part of your.
Yeah, and the eggs as well.
And the eggs.
Yeah,
Okay.
eggs, and I don't grow the eggs either. Yeah. I buy that stuff.
All right, well then, in addition to that, what is your favorite place to grab a bite?
Wildweed.
Where?
Wildweed pasta. It's a guy named Dave Jackman just opened right across the street from Homemaker's Bar, from Julie Petitprin's bar, Homemakers. Dave Jackman opened this fucking restaurant, man, and I have to work to not go eat there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want it every day. It's same with Hideki's Kiki down the street. Like, it's like, okay, I've eaten there way too many times. Calm down. Where else can I go?
Okay.
And so Wildweed is top tier. I love Kiki. Oriental Walk over in Hyde Park is also like one of my jams. Like, you can definitely find me eating there.
And they're great. So.
Susan's so great.
Yeah.
Those are my spots, man.
Those are, well, I only know the last one, so I'll have to check out.
Oh yeah, you got to check out Wildwood for sure.
I know.
You've not been to
That's nice.
Kiki?
No, but Matt, did you say you were here? Oh, okay. Okay, we'll have to go.
Ramen joint, man. It's super tasty. Super tasty.
Oh, I've heard of that. Someone else told me that about that. You know, Mary makes it happen on Instagram.
Yes.
I always say Mary. I always think it says Mary makes shit happen.
Yeah.
But I just mix up the words. I guess
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
dyslexic. But she told me about that place, and she's like, I can't believe you've never been there. So yeah, I will definitely check it out. Okay, what is a skill or talent that you've always wanted to learn? Seems like you've done everything. Was there anything that you wish you could still do or try?
I wish I could use a knife.
Really?
I wish I could use a knife. Like I see people fucking getting down, man, with a knife, and I hold it and like I got my index finger on it, and I'm like, you know what I mean, and I can't.
Yeah, we did a story with Moppy DeVera.
Yeah.
And I was cutting cilantro or something. I was cutting green onions, and I was doing that with my
Yeah.
finger. He's like, no. So he showed me how to
You
do
got to
it.
balance. You got to do this.
Yeah.
You're like,
So you're not
okay.
looking, and I keep using my finger. Good, I can't.
100%, man. I want to hold the hand. I want to go like this, you know. But whatever.
Okay, that was good. All right, what inspires you to create? I mean, bread. I mean, the whole thing is to me is creative. Your love for bread. I mean, what inspires you? What makes you want to get up in the morning and do something creative?
I guess assuming that I'm not doing anything creative. You know what I mean? Like I've never been like, today I'm gonna create something. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's not how I feel. It's usually I get frustrated.
Okay,
I mean, usually I'm like, I want this, I can't make this happen, or I get this harebrained idea, and I'll have this fucking idea about what a bread should look like, something to put in it, a way to design it, or a way to score it, or like this room, how to lay a room out, what aesthetic I want to bring to it, where we'll put in, and and mainly it's just like the shit that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how creative it is, right? It's
Yeah, I mean, it all is. I mean, they put it all together. I mean, it's your creation. It's what you. What you want to put out into the world.
It is, right? And it's such a, you know, I guess I'm holding back on saying things, and the things that I'm holding back on saying is my dissatisfaction, my inability to just accept a fucking C.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want mids, man. I want high end. I want high grade. You know what I mean? And I want things to be this way. And I want it to be pushing. And I want it to be, and when you have it, I want it to blow your mind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want like, oh yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Oh, cool, man. Thanks. You know, like I'm like high voltage, you know what I mean? And I just want everything I do and everything I'm around and everything to just be like, you did fucking what, man? You know, and you're doing what? And you're making what? You know, I have a friend, Mike Zukowski. He's in love right now, so we don't talk as much as we once did, but
In love, right?
he's in love and I'm not in love, you know what I mean? So we're like,
You got nothing
yeah, we got nothing to talk about. He's like, call me, he's like, oh, you know, she's so beautiful and she's this and that. And I'm like, word up, dude, you making any good bread? You know? Like, and
Bottom of the oven.
he's like, yeah, I do. You know, I made this bread with her and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, kill me, you know? And which is so great. It's I'm super stoked for him. But
Kids.
he's fucking your age, man. Yeah, but he's like, he's an inspirational person. Pushes hard. You know, I think that that's a big help. To see other people putting themselves out there makes me okay. Makes it feel okay to put myself out there. But I mean, in a lot of ways, my creativity bites me. It's like a boomerang I throw out, man. It comes back and cuts me to ribbons. Oh, he's never satisfied. He doesn't like anything. And oh, he's so toxic. And it's not any of that. It's not any of that. Is that amazing to you? Whose breath is that going to take away? Then why put it in the fucking window? You know? Mm-hmm. You like it that much? Run it up the flagpole, see who salutes it. I do all the time. And when other people do that, I commend them, and it helps me do it as well. You know?
I think people should, strive for excellence, and to be critiqued, put things out there and hear bad things back, and you make it better, whatever. I think that's the only way to.
That's why I like that Dave Jackman guy. That's why I like Wildweed. He's like, we're doing this. And when it ain't good, he's like, that ain't good. We ain't doing that no more. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get, and he does not accept it unless it's perfect. And I love that. I love humans that are like that. I do not like humans. I don't even want to be in the same room with someone who's like, no, this is good. You know what I mean? Like,
see you later.
Market boy. Okay, if this interview sucks, you want to fly that? You want to push this out?
No, no.
You edit the hell out of it, right? Your name and face is on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I like the real too. I don't like the unedited base. Better for me until I stutter and stuff like that. Then we'll edit that out.
And maybe you got to take out a couple of my motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
But
my kids are older now, so it's okay.
And they've also heard it before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Their mother.
Cusser.
No,
she's a cusser. You know?
No, we will edit that part out. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
All right, next question. You reading anything at the moment?
Reading?
Yeah.
It's funny you should say that. I know that I look like someone who reads.
Nerd,
like I'm like, oh, that guy is a reader, not a weightlifter. I'm not reading anything right now. I'm reading compliance stuff and bank statements, and I work so much, and SOPs and how to do this and how to do that. I haven't.
Well, that counts. I mean, you're definitely reading.
I work a lot.
Yeah.
I work a lot. I don't, and I am not a big reader. I'm not someone who I struggle to read. I don't remember what I read, so I have to go back and reread. And maybe it's ADD. Maybe I'm just not really good at reading. Maybe I'm a little dumb.
I don't know about that.
I think I'm wicked smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can navigate situations that people would struggle in completely. But I am very uneducated.
Who needs books?
Who needs books?
Screw books.
The smart people that I hire. I'm poor because I have to hire people that know how to read. You know what I mean?
Nah, who does have time to read, And when I have time to actually sit down and do nothing, I'd rather sit down and do nothing.
Yeah, ball rips and television sometimes can just soothe the savage beast.
Just watch the movie version of the book.
Yeah.
Speaking of, any movies or shows you recommend right now? You watch any Netflix or anything?
I love Western movies, and I still find myself watching old spaghetti Westerns. We were talking earlier about being single. Now no one's there to monitor what I'm watching. You know what I mean? A lot of cops and robbers, a lot of fucking Westerns,
Turn it up as loud as you want.
Yeah, because I'm old and I can't hear.
And no one will tell you to turn it down.
I mean, honestly, I grew up in sheet metal factories, and that high tinning noise is super bad on the ears.
Oh, yeah.
You know, guys like me are always like, yeah, I went to so many rock shows. Like, that doesn't do it. You know what I mean? It's
The sheet metal.
sheet metal, like tile guys, thing like that high pitched stuff is really bad. But I love True Detective. That was a really good one.
Yeah.
But I don't really get that into television. It's more like I like to have it on and I like to watch TV because it does turn it off and it does relieve some pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that I care about it.
You probably end up going right to bed after a long, how many hours?
Yeah, I work a lot. And not just that, but my mind spins in a direction that is exhausting.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a really long way to say nope. Nah. Do you read? Nah. Watch TV? Yeah, but I'm not paying attention.
It's on in the background.
Yeah.
Next one. Well, did I ask this already? Oh, okay. What are you currently working on or have recently completed? Anything major, anything minor?
I just bought private equity out of 16 Bricks. That was pretty fucking rad.
Yeah.
But before that, I worked on this spelt bread, and I haven't made it in months, man. But it's like spelt 3 ways, right? So I ferment some spelt, and like I built a starter out of it, and then I crack immature spelt.
Wait, I'm going to stop you there 1 second. I'm not very good. What's spelt exactly?
Spelt is a grain.
Okay.
Yeah. So spelt is a grain. It's not gluten free, but it has a different DNA structure than regular wheat. So a lot of times people with celiac or gluten intolerant people can eat it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's a very spelt is also wildly tasty, and so I get this immature spelt that is it's called Freca, and it's red. They fire it in an oven, you know what I mean, and they allegedly make the fire out of the stalks of wheat, and I don't think they really do that, but I think it's on a sheet pan in a hot ass oven. But what do I know? I know a lot about production. That's what I know. But I'll take that and I'll crack it, and I'll make a porridge out of it, and I'll ferment the spelt, and then I'll add just stone milled spelt, some rye, and I make this really tasty bread, which is a rendition of something my friend Mike Sikowski taught me how to make. And yeah, I just rip his shit pretty much all the time.
We should have him on here instead.
He'll be like, that fucking guy in Cincinnati's always ripping my shit.
I think he was what, 15 bricks first?
I think he was actually 17 bricks, and I knew I wasn't him, so I kicked her down one,
And now, is this spelt? Is it gluten? I mean, is someone they can't eat that?
Most of the time, they can eat that. Okay. Most of the bread made here at El Camino is stone milled. It is non-white flour. Now I'm making a baguette that has a lot of white flour in it. We bring in a French flour, and I've been making it for wild weed and for Boca.
Yeah, okay.
And it's got a lot of grain in it. It's really, really flavorful, and I'm actually wildly proud of it. And I eat one of those baguettes about every third day. I eat a full baguette.
Well, yeah, because regular portion size, you'd cut it. You'd have
yeah, I mean, unless I have some of this garlic butter that, I just don't remember the name. It's right over there. It's Parisian Pantry, I think is the name of it. He makes this garlic butter that's so fucking tasty.
All right.
I eat that a lot.
You might have to get one of those. All right. All right. Well, this is kind of, we talked a little bit about when you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up? Was
My
there
dad.
something? Yeah.
I just wanted to be my
He was
dad.
just your hero, huh? That's nice. Nice. All right, here's one. Okay, you don't read, you don't watch TV.
Yeah, you don't read.
What are your music go-tos?
My music go-tos.
Yeah, you mentioned hip hop earlier.
Yeah, I
guess
do
wouldn't
like.
have thought that. You know.
You know, I like all music, metal and country. Just kidding.
Wait, kidding about which one?
Right. Neither. You know, I guess it all depends. You know, I like rock and roll. Like, I really like rock and roll. I like Thin Lizzy. I like Motorhead. There's this band, Sleep, that I really like. Eye on Fire. There's so many. Melvins are so great. You know, I don't know. But I like Kiss, and I like, you know what I mean? And I like AC/DC, as hilarious as that may be, you know? Yeah, I like a lot. You know, I was born in 75.
Yeah.
So, you know, music is different for me. And I always liked, you know, I didn't really look like the other kids, and I didn't want to look like the other kids. And I was from a small town. I was from Norwood, which is like, you know, a little more hash than anything else, you know what I mean? And so it was always like, I always just was a little more, you know, hash than the other kids. You know, they were all like, oh, we're punk rock and we like Ramones and nothing else, or we like this and nothing else. Because when you were my age, you weren't allowed to like other things.
Right. You had to fit in.
Yeah, you were a fucking poser.
Yeah.
And no one wants to be a poser. I think even today, when I see these guys that are all like, I'm going to use a buddy's line, they're like LARPing this Sons of Anarchy world, you know, with their like, they think they're like these bikers with their chain wallets, you know, and man, if they dressed like that when I was a kid, they'd get their ass kicked, you know what I mean? But then my family moved, and, you know, and I was we moved to Cincinnati. We moved to a very different town from Norwood. We moved to a town called Bond Hill,
Okay.
which is where I was the only white kid in school.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would have thought that just to save my face that I would have liked a little more hip hop and rap music, but you know, with all the ass kickings I took over liking metal, I'm gonna like it till I end, you know. And that's kind of so. But no, like I do. Just like I was a bass player. I always wanted to play drums.
Oh,
You know, I know I can keep count. You know, but yeah, music, metal.
Yeah. You know, you look like it, so.
I know.
Yeah.
I am what you. I am what you see. You know.
You're genuine, huh?
I am 100%.
All right. Okay, this is along the lines of that. Know any good podcasts? Because I listen to them to pass the time. And you know any good ones? Podcasts?
You know, I gotta tell you, I don't. I don't. I get sent podcasts to listen to. A friend of mine, you know, the only, you know, is this girl Emily out in Portland. She does this. It's called Car Crush, and it's these girls, and they work on vans and motors and old trucks, and
Okay.
they do this. And she'll send me a link, and I'll listen to her talk about cars. Yeah, Car Crush is the only podcast that I've ever really. I've tried a few other ones, and I've enjoyed. I enjoy comedy. I like stand-up comedy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I end up watching some stuff, you know, just accidentally. But it's the only podcast that I would ever.
Okay.
In yours,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, yeah. This one's really.
Well, thank you for that plug. Okay. Last couple here. how do you define success in your creative pursuits? How do you define success? Do you think you're successful? Have you reached
No.
it? I mean, how do you
No,
define it?
no, fuck. Success. I have no idea what the fuck that is. You know, it starts with you want this, and then you need this, and then you need this to feed that. I don't know what in the fuck people are talking about when they talk about, oh, you're so successful. I work 14 hours a day and think about blowing my brains out half the time. Like, I do not find that to be successful. What successful looks like for me today, currently, eating better, hitting the gym again, not thinking about my next war. Positioning for war is not success. I have a very successful company. 16 Bricks does very good. It's a institution of Cincinnati. I changed the water that we swim in by way of bread in Cincinnati, Ohio. There's like 21 bakeries in Cincinnati that produce bread. When I started, there was like 3. Yeah, it was Blue Oven, Shadow, and Jim and Eddie.
I remember Shadow on Main Street.
Yeah. And now there's like a fucking blue million of them.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess people only see the brick and mortar. They see you have several stores. You're in different restaurants, but everything goes on behind it. It's like not that easy. They just see the final polished product.
Yeah, man, and it's like, oh, baguette. Oh, yeah, this is good. Oh, that's good. Man, and it's funny. I tried to be in this competition in France, and I've competed in bread baking. I push constantly, not for my own validation. I could give a shit about validation, but for my mind. To focus in a competitive way is one thing, but like when I compete against another bread baker who is a bread baker, which is wildly different than buying the Tartine book and making the same fucking bread that every single baker makes these days. I mean something that you're creating and that you're doing, and it has nothing to do with this book, has nothing to do with this. It's just something that's yours and not for everybody. And when you can build that, and when you know how the yeast is acting, when you can program how it's going to go through the day, when you can make a formula on the fly, you're a baker. You're a baker. Not when you follow this Betty Crocker book. I don't respect you. I don't care. But when you lay it down, and you can troubleshoot your own day and make it through your own day, and you're doing your own thing, I want to stack my bread against that guy's. Right?
Right.
Because who else knows about it? Because what can you tell me about bread?
Not much.
Dave Jackman can talk about bread all day with me, and he can talk about grain all day with me because he's experienced it all over the world. Dave Falk, same brain. Mike Stankovich, Mid-City in Longfellow, he can taste things, and his palate's amazing. He knows exactly what good is, and he's had a lot of different stuff. And I'm sure there's other candidates that can, you know what I mean? But who do I lean on for it? So that was why I was trying to compete, because my mommy's always going to say, "Oh, honey, that's great, Brad." My friends, they're not going to
teach you though, right? I mean,
no, not at all. Yeah. A guy named Jeff Yankelo taught me, and then a guy named Didier Rosada, Lionel Vatanet and Mike Zakowski. Yeah.
But you did work alongside her early on, or no?
No. I
That
removed her from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, she had a company called Sweet Williams Bakery, and my brother and my cousin took over Sweet Williams Bakery. My cousin left to go be a doctor, and he was currently employed at Sweet Williams as the fucking baker, you know. He left. And my brother, who was unemployed at the time because he had just graduated college for engineering, left to go be an engineer. I was a serviceman for Johnson & Johnson. I was field service engineer for ortho-clinical diagnostics.
Good shot.
I was yeah, right. But and I Google searched artisan bakery consultant, and I called the first person, and it was called Artisan Bakery Consultants. And a guy named Jeff Yankelo answered the fucking phone. And no, I left a voicemail. He called me back and set up the account. A couple months went by, and he was out at the bakery showing us how to make bread. My brother came along and was working with me, and I did away with 100% of Sweet Williams. I was getting fired. I remember Prima Vista fired me. He said, "This is nothing like what we were buying. I am going in a totally different direction than this." Oh. And I was like, okay. You know, also I was having some delivery driver problems that I didn't know about those showed up later. So I don't know that that's why Prima Vista fired me, but that was their excuse. You know? But that's how all that kind of came about. You know, my mom, you know, I'm sure she's proud of me. You know what I mean? I'm sure that was that. But I mean, all in all, you know, it's wild. I have a plaque that we're making right now because I own that big pink building. Finally, I own that. The short end there, you know. But the shit we have to go through. But you know what I mean? That's really what it is. Like, that's kind of what we're talking about right now, right? Like the shit we got to go through to get to the promised land. You know, what is the promised land? What is success? Success, I think, is being proud of yourself, or having some peace of mind, where I don't think I'm a peaceful man. I think I like the riot. I think I like the war. I think I like this. You know what I mean? So I like to keep it a little mixed up. You know,
now then you stop and think, okay, that's great, and then you get right back at it.
You know, 5 years ago, I was traveling. I was working maybe 3 weeks a month. Those were like 4 and 6 hour days, unless there was a project. Then I was heavily involved in projects. My life was fucking rad, you know. House I wanted, the dog I wanted, you know what I mean? Like, I've never been good at relationships, you know, but that's all right too, because I mean, I'm okay with myself. Literally, I could sit at home and I'm pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
I got a cleaning lady. You know, Debbie, she's rad. She keeps the house up. You know, that's groceries can get delivered. You know what I mean? And you can get like ETC will deliver you good stuff, you know? Fuck, I don't even remember what I was talking about. But
me either. Success, I think.
Yeah, success.
Well, you got a cleaning lady. That's success right there.
My son, I got custody of my son when he was probably 9. And I told him if he got good grades, I'd get a cleaning lady. And he got good grades that quarter. It was also the last of the good grades that he ever got. And I was so damn spoiled with the cleaning lady. I never got her loose.
The grade didn't matter so much.
Who cares? I just don't want to clean up, you know. I want to come home to a clean house, you know. But
that's something.
Yeah. Yeah, there's your success. What's success? A cleaning lady. Hey, don't get a splinter.
All right, last question. Believe it or not. You all right? One more?
Yeah.
Okay. This is one I like to ask everyone. Describe your best day ever. What would be the best day you can imagine?
Is this, when you ask other people that, do they answer?
Yes.
They have an answer.
Well, I mean, a lot of times they have a little more time to think about it because they're, just reading, writing.
People are type this all out. That is not authentic at all, is it?
Well, it's still their answers in that
Yeah,
way.
so-
But I like how this is going. Though. It's
Yeah.
a lot more fun than getting something back on paper.
I get that.
You're the first one for this, by the way.
You know, that's what being illiterate will do for you. Get your rad interview.
Yeah, they answer it. I mean, a lot of people describe, waking up and maybe grabbing something somewhere, going down to the beach, whatever, something that they don't normally do, but they would love to do more of.
Successful day for me. Wake up. I do most of this. I wake up and I have a little coffee routine. I do a little pour over coffee. I sit on the back porch and I listen to this little meditation thing, little breathing exercise. I usually hang out on my back deck and just kind of listen. It would be cool if I would maybe then go to the gym, get a nice little workout in, come home, get a shower, make some good clean food, head into work, check out work, make sure everything's good, leave, go get on my motorcycle and putz around, visit customers, come here, yell at these people for doing mediocre work, try that weird peach thing,
Very mild.
yeah. It's like long, you know what I mean? Like, what is that shape, right? But whatever. And then probably take my dog for a walk at dusk. Some good dinner, nice clean dinner. Yeah, that's kind of for me. That's not like what is a good day with a chick? What's a good day on your motorcycle? What's a good day? Like, that's like what a good day for me would be, doing something I love, man, making bread.
Best day. Does that include a chick on a motorcycle? Or?
Fuck that, man. They come and go, It's like that, there's that interview of Mike Tyson. And the guy asks him, he says, man, if you could get everyone, what is the one thing that you would like to have everybody understand about you? Like, what's the one thing that you would like everybody to understand about you? And he said, nothing. Fuck you. And it was like, you know how much freedom that is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how much, I don't care. I'm good with myself. I'm good in my soul. Best day for me is just being good with myself and in my soul and in my thoughts. Being alone on my back deck with my dog, walking my dog, you know what I mean? Those are the things that, to me, like, that's everything. Yeah, like what girl, like, taking a dream chick out, like, this girl who's turned me down every day for 8 years now, and maybe she says yes, you know what I mean? Or, what I got to eat, or did I make einkorn bread and I scored it in a way and it just all, everything popped, it just rhymed and made me fucking super stoked, where I put a piece of bread on Instagram, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that would be cool too. It's like all these things are cool, but like they feed some other thing. But for me, just having that deep-seated, I'm okay. I think that's the best day, man. I think that's the best day for me.
Peaceful day.
Everything else is just cool shit that could happen. Drag strip, buddy car, top fuel, whack, going down a quarter mile, a lot of flames, you know what I mean? That would be really a best day. But it was only a best day because something happened. you know, which is like doing drugs or jumping out of an airplane or something stupid like nobody gives a fuck about, right? Like knocking on 50's door. I just want it to be internal. Does that make sense? Or is that
Yeah, it actually does.
ramblings of a madman?
It is, but it makes sense.
You're like, yes and yes. These guys are cracking up too, you know.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, that pretty much says it all. Appreciate you doing this. And
Yeah,
then,
for sure, man. I always like doing stuff with you, man. You're super great. I always liked Poly Magazine. I like how you push things, you know. And it's not every day that I will do this kind of stuff, you know. I get asked a lot less now that now that I'm now deemed offensive or whatever. But I don't even know that I'm deemed anything. I don't think anybody really gives a shit about me, you know.
well, you know, no, they definitely do, and we do. We thank you also for that day that we shot that epic shoot. What's the name of that
great.
bar?
Grammars?
Grammars, there it was, yeah. And you were kind. You brought all these chocolate croissants my son still talks about. It was a great day there, everybody. And you came in and did that. So,
Yeah,
thank you.
that was fun.
Yeah,
It
we're
was
gonna
fun.
bring some more fun back.
Yeah.